All right, guys, we're going to factor by grouping. There are a number of ways of factoring, and in certain cases, there are certain ones that make more sense than others. And so if I were to do something like, I give you a polynomial like x to the third minus 2x squared minus 7x plus 14, that's a polynomial. It has four pieces to it, four terms, if you will. I want to factor this thing, which means that I want to have it basically, when I say factor, I want it to kind of look like this, something times something. Doesn't have to always look like that, but that's kind of what I want to do, excuse me. So if you look at this, when you have like four items, it might make sense to try to group them. I'm going to look at them as like two separate things like that. I, you don't have to use that line right there. I'm just trying to do that for illustrative purposes. But if I look at this piece over here, and then if I look at this piece over here, I can pull out a greatest common factor between both of these, right? I can pull one out of here and I can pull one out of here. Let me just start there. So in both cases, I can pull out on the left side an x squared. There is no number I can pull out, so that's it. What's left? Well, out of x cubed, x squared times, x cubed divided by x squared is just x. Or another way of looking at that, if I have three x's, 1, 2, 3, and I pulled out two of them already, I really only have one left. So I have x by itself. Let me bring down the minus. And then, okay, there's a 2 divided by 1, that's a 2. And then x squared divided by x squared is just 1, so that's it. A lot of extra words for pulling out the greatest common factor. Do it the way you want to do it. That's essentially that. All right, now let me talk about this one over here. For now, I'm going to use a line again just to show it. If I pull this out here, maybe I see this and I want to pull out a positive 7. And if I do that, then that is x plus 2. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm sorry, that is negative x. Sorry about that. I had a negative right here, plus 2. There's nothing wrong with that, but you see how right now my goal is to, and you don't know this yet, but my goal is to kind of group these things together, but this thing and this thing aren't exactly the same. So instead, let me do the same thing, but instead of pulling out a positive 7, let me pull out a negative 7. I think the best way would be for me to just go ahead and erase that. All right. And if I do that, I am going to instead pull out a negative 7, which is fine. When I pull a negative 7 out of this, I'm left with just an x. When I pull a negative 7 out of this, I'm left with a minus 2. Now, I can always check that by doing negative 7 times x. I get negative 7x. I get negative 7 times negative 2. I get a positive 14. So I'm good. All right. So to this point, all I really did was pull out the greatest common factor. I used a lot of words, but that's all I really did. Now, when I look at this, between this piece and this piece, I have another common factor. I don't know if you see it or not, but I'm going to use blue this time to kind of put a circle around this and this. You see how that's common to both of those pieces? Well, let me pull that out. X minus 2 is a common factor between these two things. From this piece over here, if I pull out an x minus 2, I'm left with just x squared. And let me see what's left. And then from this piece over here, I'm left with just minus 7. So I have it in my factored form now. I need to double check. Is this thing factorable? Nope. Is this thing factorable? Nope. So because of that, that is my answer. All right. Now that was kind of messy. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and do that a little more quickly, just to so you can see it all together in one little swing. So x cubed minus 2x squared minus 7x plus 14. When I group these up, if I look at it like this, then I see x squared comes out of both of these things. I have x minus 2. Beautiful. Now over here, because I'm trying to get a minus 2 and that's a plus 7, a plus 14, I'm going to use the negative 7 because I know 7 comes out, but I'm going to do the negative version of it. And then I'm going to be left with x, and then this is going to switch to minus 2 because negative 7 times negative 2 is a positive 14. Notice that I have common factor here. Let me pull that common factor of x minus 2 out. So from this side over here, from this piece, I'm left with just an x squared. And from this piece, I'm left with negative 7. This is not factorable. This is not factorable. Done. All right. So that's good. I'm going to see if I can move that over here. I'm going to do another example, though. Let me see if I can slide that up a little bit. There we go. What if I had something like, I don't know, 2x cubed plus 3x squared minus 26x minus 39. I wrote a plus. Minus 39. Now, if I try to do one of these numbers, there are common factors here, but these kind of dicey. I can't pull out a common factor. So let me not do that. Instead, let me rewrite this. Let me kind of put this with this, and then this with this, because I see a 3 and a 39, a 2 and a 26. All right. Now, if you can do that in your head, cool. I have to write it out again. So 2x cubed minus 26x, because I want this one over there with it, plus a 3x squared minus 39. I just switched the sides here. Now I'm going to look at it like this. I have a 2 that can come out of both of these and an x that can come out of both of these. What's left here is an x squared and minus 13. Then on this side, I have a positive 3 that can come out of both of those. And so I'll be left with an x squared minus 13. Well, looky here. I have a common factor of x squared minus 13 in both. Let me pull that out. X squared minus 13. Now, what's left when I pull that out? Well, from here, it's a 2x. And from here, it's a positive 3. X squared minus 13 is not factorable. 2x plus 3 is not factorable. And I'm done. All right, 2 examples. There are many more you can do. The key here is that I have 4 terms, and so it makes it easy for me to kind of group it. That's just factoring by grouping. You can use that to solve. We'll do that in another video. Thank you.